Hi, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you Come Follow Me for April, and I'm excited. There's so many fun things happening in April. And so if you like this kind of content and other homeschool content, please remember to subscribe, and let's talk about Come Follow Me. Okay, so in April we have 5 weeks, and 2 of those weeks are just so exciting because one of them is General Conference and the other one is Easter, and they're back to back. So there's a lot of fun stuff. So Come Follow Me does have like some stuff in the New Testament for the first week of April, but I didn't put it in here. I put stuff to prepare for General Conference. So you can mix the two however you want to do it, but I just put stuff in here to prepare your kids and yourself for General Conference. So I'm going to quickly kind of go through these since we have so much stuff to talk about today. So this is reviewing from the past General Conference. And so they're gonna pick like 1 or 2 talks to review over. You guys could listen to them as a family and discuss them, just kind of to remember, but not President Nelson's talks because they'll review those later on in the week. And then there is a getting to know you thing. If you've been around for a while, you've seen these before. I change them a little bit or change a few things, but I also reuse a lot of stuff. And nothing really has changed too much in the general auxiliaries or with the apostles or anything like that. So that was really nice for me this time. But this is getting to know you, so it has some of the apostles here, some things about them. And so it's just a fun opportunity to know a little bit more about their lives personally and not just them as an apostle. And then also matching them. This is really difficult for my kids to try to put a face to a name or a name to a face, whatever order it goes into. I think it's hard. It's hard for me sometimes as well. So obviously this is not all the apostles. This is just some of them. So they can go through and match them up. You know, if they need to pull out like the conference edition of the Ensign, like the October one or something to help them, they can totally do that. And then this is for the general auxiliaries. So it's a word search. And then if you wanted to, you could also pull out the conference edition for this one and have them put them in their different categories like General Relief Society, General Primary, General Young Men's, or all those Sunday school, all those types of things. And they could put them into their categories and kind of see, oh, this is what each of these people do, and see their faces, like these are real people. And then the last day will be lessons from President Nelson. So I put 2 specific talks, like 2 of his 3 talks basically in conference are very short most of the time because it's like an intro and an outro. You know, so they're very short, the beginning one and the end one. And so it's What is True, I believe is his first, like his Saturday morning one. And then Overcome the World and Find Rest is his Sunday morning talk. So it's a lot longer, but then they can draw a picture or write some notes of things that stood out to them from his talks. Okay, then the next week is Easter. And so I've done this in the past, and you'll probably be familiar with it if you've been around for a while, but I take it from Palm Sunday to Resurrection Sunday. So I think it's 8 days. And the different names for all these days comes from this book, The Holy Week for Latter-day Saint Families. So I'll try to link some of these below. I have a few other books to show you, but I have more, I think, in-depth videos from the past years, and I'll link those down in the description box. So if you wanted to check those out and maybe see a little bit more of what we try to do for Easter and the whole week leading up to it, you can check those out. But this is a really good book. It has some fun, like simple activities in here. And like I said, the days here, I probably won't have time to go through them in depth, but they're all names from here. So you have Palm Sunday, I think like Cleansing Monday, when Christ is sanctifying the temple. So this one is a word search that has some temple names and things in that. So like the sunstones, baptismal font, things like that. And then Parable Tuesday, they can match the different parables, go through the scriptures and match those parables, and you can talk about any of these a little bit more in depth if you would like. And then we have Betrayal Wednesday, and so they're gonna fill this out and figure out who betrayed Jesus, and they might already know, especially since we are studying the New Testament this year. And then the Last Supper Thursday, And so this is a song that they're gonna fill out. And then what's the next day? Good Friday, obviously. Should have known that. And so this is Jesus's sacrifice, and it has some crosswords. I always like word search and crosswords. I mix them up. If I have a second to think about it, I know which one's which, but just off the top of my head, I always mix the two of them up. So these are some words from things that happened to Christ that day. So they're gonna fill in that crossword. And then salvation, Saturday, Christ is in the spirit world. So this is a good time to talk about family history work and to preaching of the spirits in the spirit world, them learning about the gospel and things like that. So you can either paste pictures, like if you have pictures that you could either print out, or maybe you already have some just laying around that you're not using, and you could put them here, or they could draw pictures, and you could always do a fuller like pedigree chart if you wanted to do that, or get on Family Search and do some stuff with that. And then we have Easter Sunday, and so they're gonna have some things to do here with drawing a picture of how Christ's resurrection has changed your life, and then draw a picture of something you learned this week as you study more about Christ. So that was super quick overview of that. But like I said, all the titles for the days came from this book. And then another book that I have liked, it's an older book. I think I had gotten this off of Amazon, but that was years ago. So I'll see if I can find it. Maybe off of eBay you could find it. But this is A Christ-Centered Easter. And this one, again, has a whole bunch of activities. It has some stories. There's recipes if you wanted to do like some of the meals and different things that they would have done at that time. It has ideas for how you could do that. And then the last books that I wanted to share are from Emily Bell Freeman. And this one is from David Butler as well, but I think she just wrote this one. This is more of the like adult copy, I guess, which sounds kind of funny, but anyway, so this is celebrating a Christ-centered Easter. And if you follow Don't Miss This on YouTube, or they have a podcast, they'll probably go through this. They have the last several years, and I'm sure they will this year. They might have something else that they're doing as well, since we are studying the New Testament. I was like, wait, the New Testament, the Old Testament? And so they go through some of the activities in this book. And then this is the children's edition. So it's this book, but simplified so that kids can understand it. It has pictures and things in here. So basically they're gonna focus on some of the people that were involved in Christ's story that last week. So if you wanted to do that, and we've kind of switched it off. Sometimes we focus on more of what's happening those specific days, and sometimes we've gone through this, you know, because it has like Mary Magdalene, I think it has Simon, I can't even remember all of them, or Simeon, I don't remember all the names, but there are several different people that it goes through, and that has like simple, very fun, like simple activities you could do to focus on those people throughout the week. So those are just a few of the things to help your week leading up to Easter be a little bit more Christ-centered. And Palm Sunday is also General Conference Sunday, so it's very like exciting. You get to start it off with General Conference weekend, and then have all of these activities leading up to Easter. Okay, and then I just wanted to touch on a few other things for that, because we still have 3 weeks left in the month. See, there's so many good things. So then we'll be back in the New Testament. So one of the things the following week after Easter is bearing your testimony. And the previous day, they're going to be talking about this, a story in the scriptures. But I thought it'd be a good time for them to practice bearing their testimonies. And so they could write notes here. They could write it out. I know some kids are more comfortable if they have it like written and they can just read it. And they can say it in front of the family, like take turns. And they could even set a goal to like share it in fast and testimony meeting, which will have already passed at this point, at least for our stake. Okay, because it's the Sunday after Easter. Wait, no, it will not have passed. Now that I think about it, I was thinking it was the Monday after, but you will do this the Monday right after, or the Tuesday right after Easter. And so if they wanted to share their testimony that Sunday and Fast Sunday, if your Fast Sunday is the same as ours, then they could do that. So that could be a good goal for them. Maybe a little bit overwhelming and stretching, but still good. And then we're going to be talking about the priesthood, I believe, the rest of the week. So specifically priesthood keys, and they're going to go in to the guide to the scriptures on the church website. If you search keys of the priesthood, that's all right here for you. You can have like a list, kind of, it gives you a list of some of the people that carry keys, or if you are well versed in this, I am not as well versed as my husband is, then you can share with them some people that hold priesthood keys and talk more about that. And then the next week, we're gonna have some different parables again to talk about. So we have the unmerciful servant that we're gonna mention here. And then I believe the next day we're also talking about forgiveness, which goes along with this parable. But then you have the parable of the Good Samaritan, which is a really, really fun and good one. I don't know, fun is probably not the right word, but it's a really good parable to go through. And the next day, I was trying to figure out how to make it a little bit clearer, help kids understand a little bit better. So I'm not sure if I made it clearer about who a Samaritan is or things like that. But I put a map here of the Holy Land. And there's a few directions in here of things they can do, like coloring these different areas, Judea, Galilee, Samaria, and then drawing a line from where this man would have been traveling, and how the Samaritan was willing to help him. And so just so they can visually see a little bit of what's going on, you could even talk about how people would go around Samaria so that they didn't have to go through it, and just how much time that would have taken to have to go all the way around. So there's a lot of different things. And then the next day, I think, also has them think about how they could be a good Samaritan that week, some sort of active service they could plan, or something like that they could focus on, or maybe a time they already have, like recently, been a good Samaritan. And then the next week, it's kind of, I felt like it was a little bit like random. It was kind of hard to pull together thoughts for that week because it wasn't just stories happening and stuff. So I felt like it was a little all over the place. But one of them is to keep the commandments. And so it will have this scripture here. It's not in order. So they're going to try to put it in order. And if they, once they think they got it, have them open their scriptures and actually go check. And I just think it's really good too to have them personally check, because they get in the scriptures, they get familiar with where things are. And if they don't want to cut them out, they can just write numbers of which order they go in, because sometimes my kids want to cut things out and sometimes they don't. And then we will have the Good Shepherd and the hireling this week. So you could look up what a hireling is. I gave a simple definition here, but they're going to go through the story and talk about differences between these two, just who they would prefer to be the one watching over them. And I think that's all I wanted to mention for the rest of that time. So that's the booklet for Come Follow Me for April. Okay, and then I did make bingo cards for this month. I went through and basically picked stories or parables. There might be a few things that don't quite fall into that category, but that's what I tried to focus on. So there's Yoked with Christ, which again, isn't exactly that category, but close enough. But there's the woman at the well, there's a treasure in the field, there's the Good Samaritan on here, the widow of Nain, the grain of mustard seed. There's a few different things, and then I have some thoughts here. Obviously, you can share other ideas. You could just say the name. You could have them look up the scriptures. There's a lot of possibilities. It's a really good way to review, because this covers basically most of the things we've already studied this year. Besides, most of the January stuff was Christmas stuff, reviewing all the nativity type things. And I have a separate bingo card for that. So I'll link that one down below along with this one. And you'll find the free downloads for this just in the description box. You can click on them and download them and print them out for you to use. Okay, so that's Come Follow Me for April. So many exciting things. And if you have fun traditions, things you like to do for General Conference and for Easter, let me know down in the comments, because I'm always looking for other ideas, or I just love to hear what you guys like to do. So please put those down in the comments, and remember to give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you next time.